I have an event coming up in a couple weeks and I want to make sure that you got the invite. I'm always letting people know in my newsletter through email about events and workshops that I'm running, but I don't always share them on YouTube. So here we go. Heart and Spark is my half-day live workshop for professionals who are involved in helping parents of late talkers. So if you're a speech and language therapist or an assistant or perhaps a portage worker or somehow else involved in that aspect of parent coaching that's such a crucial part of how we help children to develop communication, then I'd love it if you would join us. You may have noticed in my YouTube videos that I definitely focus on being bite-sized, something that you can consume whilst you finish off a cup of tea or something like that. But if you would like a little bit more time and the opportunity to meet other people and talk things through, then I'd like to invite you to my Heart and Spark workshop. When I was training as a speech and language therapist, the idea of coaching parents was barely touched on at all. And yet because I work with very young children, a huge part of my work is really about building strong working relationships with parents and coaching them through the emotional and practical aspects of helping a child to develop their communication skills. And so I'd like to extend this, what I have learned over the years, to you, for us to have a live conversation, to share our experiences of supporting parents, and for me to give you my simple framework for how I approach all of my speech and language therapy sessions with parents. You'll notice that I mentioned that this is a live workshop because it's not recorded. What I've noticed over the last year of hosting Heart and Spark is that a huge part of the value of it is actually being able to have those in-person conversations with other professionals doing similar work to you. And so we don't record that, we really just focus on valuing the time that we have together. So within Heart and Spark, we'll be looking at my framework for approaching all of my parent coaching sessions with families, and we'll also be looking about how we develop a strength-based conversation about a child's communication needs. When a child isn't talking, it's really easy for us to focus on all the things that they can't do. And I know that parents also experience that as well. But actually, we can still talk about what a child can do and celebrate what they're doing while still building and helping them to take the next steps with their communication. So we'll look at that. And we're also going to be touching on imposter syndrome, or however you would like to describe that feeling that you might have where you feel like you don't quite know enough, you're not quite good enough, you're not quite doing enough for the families that you work with. The reason that this is included within Heart and Spark is because it comes up in so many conversations with my fellow speechies and other professionals. And so let's talk about it, and I'll share with you some practical ideas and steps that I take to manage those moments when I also feel like, oh, I could be doing more. A huge part of Heart and Spark is also thinking about how we develop active listening skills and having the opportunity to practice that with other people in the Zoom room together. It's easy for us to focus on the strategies and the specific things that we do within our role, but listening in itself is quite a skill that I think we are developing and practicing over the lifetime of our career. And it's nice to be able to have the opportunity to look at that in detail and talk about it with others and actually practice it and get feedback. I'll also be sharing a few video clips of my sessions with kids and parents as well, because we all like a little bit of a video example. Let's also have a look at some of the feedback from past attendees, right? I can tell you that 100% of people who have attended have rated this workshop at a 9 or a 10 out of 10. So that feels like a vote of confidence, right? If you come along, you're gonna be glad. Let's also look at some of the comments and feedback that some people have said. Great course, well delivered, so many ideas, interesting perspectives, frameworks, and areas of speech therapy covered. Thank you very much for a very informative session that I took a lot from and feel more confident with my practice. Very interesting and useful. This was a fantastic workshop for SALTs at any stage in their career who are working with young children and parents. It provided a person-centered, holistic discussion of how we can best support parents in therapy and also build our own confidence as SALTs. I would highly recommend the Heart and Spark course. Great networking and peer discussion, brilliant practical ideas for clinical work, honest and vulnerable content. If you're interested, this sounds useful to you, check out all the details on my website. I'll put the link below, and it would be really great to see you there. Do you have any questions? Let us know. Hope to see you soon. Take care.